we are getting ready for development. There are some things that we need to get, that we need to organize before we go to development. Maybe you might be like me, a designer and a developer. Even though you are a designer and a developer, that doesn't mean you need to be inefficient. You need to go back and forth into the Figma file for one and the same thing. Just like in any other discipline, like a doctor, you need to have all your tools ready before you start working. I think that speaks much to productivity. So the same thing applies here. We need to gather some asset that will help us in the development phase when we are on Visual Studio Code or any other code editor. This doesn't mean that once we go to the code editor, we will never come back to this document. But I'm saying we need to do some preparation. In that preparation, we need to make some certain decision which will make the development easier. With that being said, let's talk about assets that we are going to prepare. I have two categories of asset. Please bear in mind these are just the words that I have created. Maybe they might not be meaningful, and please use them wisely, okay, or with caution, because some other people might not understand it. I call these two type of asset tangible and intangible. What are tangible assets? Tangible assets are things like images, okay? An image, it's something that you can take and export and use it in a build, and use it on your own application, okay, and import it and use it as something that will make it to the final build in a way that is noticeable. Then I call those tangible assets, okay. These are images, JPEG, PNGs. Sometimes if maybe there is a PDF that you need to take it to your application, that will fall under the category of tangible asset. These SVGs, okay, in case maybe this icon is so unique such that you cannot find it in any icon library in development, then you will need to save it as an asset, and then I call this a tangible asset. However, as much as those are the things that you can see and they are easy to notice, there are some assets that are not easy to notice. As I've told you that I am a graphic designer, I happen to have branding experience as well. Whatever that we do, we are trying to communicate a message, okay? It's either a certain company has asked us to create an application for them. They have got an identity system. They have got a logo, and the logo comes with some identity colors. Okay, now if we talk about branding, those are intangible, or I call them intangible assets. These are very crucial. These are very, very important asset because they can make or break the brand. Imagine if on Google you can change all those colors maybe to pink, yellow, blue, white, red. You would have taken a huge amount of value from Google to the drain. So these are sensitive and most important assets. Okay, so that means that we need to prepare some images, and at the same time there are those intangible assets. Now for now I can only say the colors. So I'm assuming that these colors or this color scheme, okay, it's coming from the identity of the brand. So with that being said, let's get into it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to double click this and double click it until it's highlighted, and then I'm going to come here on export, and then I don't like PNGs. I only use PNGs when I have an image that has got transparency and it needs to take that transparency to production. Then I will use PNGs. But for this one, I will just use a JPG, and then I am going to click export here. So that has been exported. So when we want to use it, we know that we've got this image and it's exactly in this. Hey guys, my apologies for disturbing. In case you didn't know, we've got a course at Udemy. If you're watching this on Coded Design,
I also got another YouTube channel for teaching you Figma, and that channel is Coded UI. In case you want to be updated by everything that we do here at Coded Design, please check the link in the description below to our Substack newsletter. Thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying.
Size, okay? This image and this one, it's the same thing. So when you look at here, one might feel like, why don't you then export the icons as well? So what we are going to do, we are going to use some packages, okay? Some React packages for icon, and there's a lot of them out there. So we are going to use the lookalikes or the equivalent, since in this course taking icons as they are is a little bit outside the scope, and in most cases, guys, these icons, they are not super important in a way that they have to be there, unless maybe the client has communicated that these icons must be exactly the same. Even if that is the case, here we are creating reusable code, clean code. We are sticking to good programming practices, and we are crafting compound components. So I would like to stick to that. So I am not going to export these SVG as they are. With that being said, now let's jump to the next part, which is sampling colors. Well, somebody might feel like, why don't you just export this as an image and then you will sample colors as you go? That is possible and it can work, but as you know that it has got some disadvantages, okay? So also one might feel like these are just simple colors. You can just take them from here. This is green, this is light green, and this is red, and this is this and that. Let me show you something that you might not have thought of, which is going to make your development life easier. Let's take this component. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste it, and then I'm going to drag it outside of this, as you can see. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's talk about it. Okay, so how do you get this to be like this? As you can see, this is some sort of a gradient. Okay, cool. Let me zoom out a little bit and let me show you how I got this. So I'm going to double click here, and then I'm going to come here to the fill. As you can see, it's a linear gradient. Let's double click here. If you look at this, okay, this color originally it's like this. Okay, this is the original color. It's some sort of this lime green, okay, or this lime. Okay, it's very strong, as you can see, but when it appears on the object or on the graphic, as you can see, it's not as strong as it is here. Okay, that is very important to note. Also, this one, it's strong here. As you can see, these are the two colors, but somewhere here it's not as strong as it's supposed to be. Let's get to development. These are two different worlds. Okay, the designer do things differently in a certain way, and the developer does things in a certain way. Let's say in development we've got a div here. Okay, we've got a div here. Based on the application of this linear gradient, you can see that this effect, okay, flows over the graphics. Okay, it looks like originally it's strong here, and it gets lighter as time goes by until somewhere here it changes to here. And as it changes, as you can see outside this shape, it's continuing to be stronger. These are the advantages of graphic design or graphic design application. But when you get into development, which is CSS or Tailwind, okay, or HTML, you've got this div here. If you are going to apply linear gradient, okay, it can start from here. Let me just show you. It can start from here, which is at the edge of this div, and let me just change the color. Okay, let me just use one of these, which I believe is this one. It can start from here, copy and paste, and end here in the edge of this div. I apologize about that. As you can see, it can start from here and end here? Well, somebody might be like, I've got advanced CSS or tailwind or styling skill. I can be able to take this gradient and scratch it so that somewhere here it can be a little bit lighter, something like this. And also the same goes for here. Well, if you've got those skills, I'm happy for you. But with me, based on my experience, I had to make some decision here on Figma so that to simplify my life on development. What are those decisions? Check what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do now, instead of having these strong colors, okay, these strong colors that on development I have to keep on adjusting and using advanced CSS skills and tricks so that I can get this effect. So what I will do instead, I will have my starting color not as this one, which is my new starting color, which is going to start here. Okay, and that starting color, I am going to sample it from here. Check here. Now my starting color is going to be this strong green. Okay, if we click here and sample this green, okay, this green and this one might not be the same. This one is a lot stronger and this one is not a lot stronger. It makes sense because based on this green is strong here, but here it's becoming a mix, it's becoming diluted until somewhere here it's 100%. It has changed, okay? It has changed at all. It's no longer this green. So this will serve as my starting color, as you can see. And then let's copy and paste the same shape and move it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do, I am going to sample my ending color here. As you can see, now instead of having this color and this one, I have this one and this one. So in development, I am not going to waste time using some advanced Tailwind CSS gradient skills to get this to look like this. I know that when I am in development, this is what I'm going to do, okay? I am going to have a radial effect, sorry, a linear gradient effect, something like this. Let me just quickly show you. Okay, linear gradient. And in terms of the starting color, this one, as you can see, this one, I am going to use this color. And then in terms of ending color, this one, I am going to use this color instead. Okay, as you can see, this has achieved somewhat a similar effect. And then let's go here and then we can just make some adjustment, something like this. Okay, obviously in terms of development things might be different, but I'm just giving you an idea of simplifying your life by making some certain decision in terms of colors in Figma. Okay, as you can see guys, obviously this might not be, let's say, the exact 100%, but what I have just done here by sampling this and this, I have some sort of save myself some development time of unnecessary CSS styling tricks which don't necessarily hold weight on the final build. Okay, so as you can see guys, preparing your asset, it's not only about images and SVG, but it's about colors as well. So in the next session, we are going to sample all of our colors so that they can be ready for us to take them to Tailwind CSS as identity colors. See you on the next one.